Yep, we're recording. Hopefully. Hopefully. My microphone is being picked up. Yeah, it's being picked up. It's being picked up. So as you can see, I'm going to be doing a topic that was done 2 years ago. But I don't care. I've just recently got into PC building. I've been learning all the parts about PCs. I think I should try my hand and watch this. The original video was taken down because apparently this kid can't take criticism. What's funny about this video is I've heard that he was accusing people who criticized this video of being racist on Twitter. So we're probably gonna go take a look at that later on. So let's just begin. I already watched some of it, I guess.
So a few years ago, TC, or managing...
So let's begin.
So a few years ago, TC, or managing editor...
Oh god, yeah, Stefan.
It's kind of out of date, and it's
Stefan, you poor child.
Let's build a new one.
How to build a custom
gaming desktop for around $1,000, but I want to go all out, so I spent around $2,000.
Yeah,
like
you
this
spent
$2,000. Most games at ultra settings.
2,000 of someone else's of the Verge's money. What do you mean I need a table? Ah, oh, damn it! I did it wrong. I built mine on the floor. Please note, I've actually never built a PC before. I built mine on the floor. God damn it! No wonder it runs like absolute gonky pog peaky. I'm just a caveman. I speak different languages.
Preferably not metal. If it's gonna be metal, have an anti-static working surface layered on top of it. A thermal paste
or just build it on the ground.
A wrench, some tweezers to tighten up the wires.
Okay, hold on. Who uses this? Who uses a thermal paste applicator? All you just need to do is just one dot in the middle, and that's it. The hell you need an Allen wrench for? What? Like, what kind of PC case you're building with that uses an Allen wrench? Just use a screwdriver. And did he call those tweezers?
A Swiss Army knife, which hopefully has a Phillips head screwdriver in it.
Just use a screwdriver! Oh my god, just use a damn screwdriver.
An anti-static bracelet.
That's not even an anti-static bracelet. As one Asian man said, he's not fighting static, he's fighting cancer.
And how they interact with one another.
To better understand the parts that make up a desktop, let's try to understand them individually. The processor is like the computer's brain, a base of calculations that control everything the computer does. The motherboard is like the foundation, serving as a main structure for all other parts to be added to. It also allows
I'm just gonna skip past this.
With one another,
there's
makes it
nothing I can really make fun of.
First figure out who might for video Core i3 back the car. There are sites like P6 you might have
parts, so it's best you unbox them, isolate the parts that you really need, place items into the case, and make sure that they all fit, and then start working. And now we're really gonna start building by adding the motherboard in. Some notes about installing motherboards: they're really delicate. You should be really careful with them. And screw in with confidence, but also don't screw in too hard,
with confidence. That's what she said.
I chose Asus's Z370 motherboard for two main reasons. One, it has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and also it has...
Okay, so I'll be right back. My alarm is going on. Alright, I'm back. Don't just buy a motherboard because it has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. One, it is better to have a wired connection than it is to have Wi-Fi. Two, even if the motherboard doesn't... And most motherboards have a LAN cable. So... yeah. Two, it's also really cheap to get a Bluetooth adapter. You know, it's... that you can just plug into one of the USB slots and just boom, that's Bluetooth for ya.
Has support for NVMe SSDs, meaning you can get really fast SSDs that are really easy to install. Pay close attention to the brace that goes at the back of
It's
the
called an
computer.
IO
You always have to
shield,
make sure that
stupid.
you really hammer it in. Because
Don't
there's
hammer
no
it in.
screw. It really just has to go outside of the case and clasp onto the frame. And this is very important because otherwise you can't align the motherboard correctly with the holes. We're just going to start installing all 8 screws. So next we're going to install the RAM on the motherboard. I chose Corsair's 16GB Vengeance LED RAM for 2 main reasons. One, it has LEDs and we do like lights in our gaming desktops.
I know I'm not sure if anyone like was in my Discord or like friends with me, people who are friends with me, probably know the joke that I've made. Like, like, you know, what's the point? It's like, I'm gonna think. I know I made the joke that's like, oh, you know, I could get these really good parts, you know, but I just want RGB. Like, no, like, if you want RGB, yes, do get RGB, but, like, also take into consideration the lights. Second, that's not that fast. That's not that fast. The fat kid in my PE class, he can run faster than that.
Secondly, it's pretty fast RAM. It's 2666 megahertz, I believe, so it's pretty fast, and this motherboard supports that speed, which is most important. Open the slots first, and just aligning the stick with the middle of the strip, not with the end, and just lining that up with the logo. So once you hear that solid clasp and you don't see the gold connectors on the side anymore, that's when you know the RAM is in. Step 3, we're going to install...
What the hell are you doing? No, that's 2-stick memory. You're supposed to space them out. If it's 4-stick, it doesn't really matter, but that's like... I would slap you so damn hard your glasses fall off.
The hard drive, or in this case, the NVMe SSD. I chose this format of solid-state drive so that I could input it into the motherboard without having to worry about extra wires or putting it in a separate part of the case and just getting really messy. This is from Kingston, and it's 480 gigabytes, so it's not a lot, but you can always upgrade.
480 gigabytes. Alright. Storage should be at least 1 megabyte when buying a PC. I think my new PC, it has 3 terabytes? 3 terabytes of hard drive space, because when we... Okay, so I'm getting a pre-built PC, because it's just much easier to do that than going on and buying a PC that's $4,000 just because the GP... Never mind. But you get the point. 1 terabyte is pretty much the... You're not gonna... What? That's 400 gigabytes? That's... Okay, you have the operating system, you download some games, and then... Oh no, you gotta upgrade.
This and swap it out, and it's only held down by 1 screw and the latch.
Also, I don't know about this, but I'm pretty sure you have... Like, if you switch... Never mind,
So it's really simple and really straightforward. Speed for gaming is important when it comes to a hard drive. You want files to write quickly and you want games to load quickly, so that's why it's best if you use an SSD. Okay, so step 4, we're going to install the graphics card.
I would do it
chose
last.
PNY's GTX 1080, which is overclocked, and so it's a
Wasn't the 20 series out at this time? Like, wasn't the 20... When did the 20 series come out? ...2018. When was this? September 20th. Okay, so this is because this is the re-upload. I'm assuming the video came out a bit earlier. So the 20 series didn't come out. So
pretty easy installation. You're just going to find the gold connectors, and you're going to line this bracket with the back end
How many
bracket
brackets?
of your PC case. Now, which lane you choose depends entirely on what other parts you're going to put in the system. I'm just going to pick the top one because
put
the SSD is at the bottom and I don't want to cover it. I just think it looks nice.
You put in a GPU, when you put in a GPU, unless you have two GPUs and you daisy chain them together, you put the GPU in the top slot, that way you can get the most out of it. He was just lucky. Yeah, and who cares if the GPU covers the SSD? It looks nice. Sure. Alright, yeah, sure, buddy.
Click down. Take your remaining brackets and just put them in the spots that you haven't used. You don't have to screw these in. They get bolted down by the back-end bracket. And your GPU is installed. Power supply time. I chose Corsair's 850 watt power supply because I need enough headroom for ray tracing GPUs when they come out, and I don't want to have to upgrade it again. So all you have to do is take the brick and make sure that you align it with these little insulating pads so that the power supply doesn't short circuit and come into contact with the rest of the system.
Those are vibration pads, stupid. They're supposed to keep the power supply from rattling around, hitting the case. And also, what do you mean short circuit?
So just
I'm gonna go and touch my power supply, and if
slide
I
it
die,
in
you know how that
until
went.
you have a snug fit, and then shift it to the back and make sure it's right up against the frame. Now you just take the required screws and you tighten and screw in. So next step, we're going to install the CPU cooler. In this case, it's going to go on the top end of the case, and we're just going to have the hose hang out for a little while until we install the processor.
The hose hang out for a little while. Don't say that in a kindergarten.
Which is going to come a little later. Always be sure to
I would have
try to
installed the
place it in
CPU first. There is no fans. There is no fans to that thing. There are no fans. What are you doing? You need the fans.
Them first before you install it, because you can see it takes up a lot of space. But in this case, no pun intended, it fits in perfectly, and we're gonna start screwing it in.
Where are they?
There's nothing special about this screwing in process. They're just really long screws because they go through the entire frame of the cooler.
Oh, I wonder why they have really long screws. It's almost like there's fans that need to, there's fans that the screw needs to go into to...
And they take forever. So next up, cables.
So
every
yeah,
power
that's just
supply
gonna...
is gonna come with a big bag of Velcro cables. It's kind of
Not
daunting
every
at first,
power
so you always have to
supply is-
find the ones that are gonna fit. In this case, you need to match those cables with the correct descriptions on the power supply. Next step is we're connecting the power supply to the motherboard with a 24-pin cable. We're just matching that cable from the motherboard, threading it through the back, and attaching the 24-pin.
Still waiting for when the Allen wrench shows up.
One of the connections complete.
Where's the
next
Allen
few
wrench?
additions will be for the GPU, for any specific ports that the case has, for any lighting that the case has, the CPU cooler, anything else really. We're installing the CPU, the heart of the computer, or the brain, depending on how you look at it. So
Technically, the brain, because it powers the computer. It powers the computer. I don't understand how it's the heart.
to do this, we're just going to remove the plastic covering that they put on the motherboard. We're just going to take this little plastic part out.
The CPU should have been the first
Out
thing.
of here.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why did you throw that away? Why did you throw that away? You're gonna need that. Like, if something ever happens to the motherboard or the CPU, and you need to send it into the company, or send it into support, they're gonna need that little plastic covering. Oh my god. How do you have a job?
And now we have an exposed CPU holder, or rather slot, on the motherboard. And we're going to use the CPU applicator. This is a special little part that not everyone may get, but this motherboard that we got from ASUS definitely does have. It's called a CPU installation tool. It makes it really useful if you want to install a Core i7 hexa-core CPU. Yeah, we've got one, and it's an 8th generation.
Yeah, we got one. Yeah, we got one. We got one. Yeah. It's not like you can buy them in almost every major retailer. Stole that joke. Gosh.
Chip, and it's ready to go, and it supports overclocking. So what having
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. Don't overclock your PC. Just don't take that risk. Because if you don't overclock correctly, it can fry your CPU. So just don't take the risk and overclock, alright? Little lesson.
Installer does for you is it's basically a brace that you can apply right to the CPU and light it up with the triangles that you'll see on the bottom left corners. And this will make it easier for us to apply it to the motherboard and then apply thermal paste and then apply a CPU cooler on top. And we're just going to carefully lean it down into the system and make sure that everything lines up, and we're going to clasp down on it.
He didn't even use it! He didn't use it! It's right there! It's right there! Where's the Allen wrench?
We'll be good to go. So we're about to apply...
You probably like push down the CPU. Which is one thing you should never do, by the way. If you push down the CPU, it can bend the pins. I'm getting messages on Discord. Real quick. Let me just...
thermal paste to the CPU. Every CPU cooler actually comes with a bit
Not
of thermal
every
paste
CPU cooler comes with... Not every. Just saying. You don't need to put thermal paste on the CPU if there's already thermal paste on the cooler. If there's no thermal paste on the cooler, then put thermal paste on the CPU.
Applied in a circle around it, but it's usually not enough. It's good, essentially PC building practice to have a little bit extra and layer it on top of the CPU.
A dot! You just need a dot. What are you doing?
The final portion is to add...
You're putting thermal paste on a CPU. What are you doing? A dot. Pretty sure we've all come to the agreement that a dot in the middle of the CPU is the best way to have it. Alright? You are essentially just layering a cake. Icing a cake. God.
The CPU cooler to the top end of the processor. So you're gonna see...
What? Stefan, answer me. Did you whip it out and just jizz all over that CPU? Because that's what it looks like. It looks like you threw up thermal paste. Piss out thermal paste. What happened? Why is there... Oh my god, I am going to be surprised. It's going to leak and it's going to burn the mobile. I'm going to be surprised if this PC even turns on.
See that there are 4 brackets, or rather like screws in here with brackets.
Take a shot every time this guy says bracket, by the way. Bracket, brace.
Holders right here. And they're going to keep the cooler raised off the processor, but it's also going to be close enough to actually physically come in contact with it, like basically keep it cool. Take thumb screws like this and just screw them on. So now that our internals are done, we're going to put all the panels back on, which is the top glass, side glass, front glass, and of course the back panel where all of this fun stuff is happening. So we fully built the PC.
Oh my god, that cable management.
And we got to the post screen. So what's next? Well, you need a USB flash drive with your Windows installation media on it, and of course a license key. So I plugged that up, installed Windows in a couple of minutes, installed a bunch of drivers, and now we have a fully functioning gaming PC ready to run some games. Right now I've got Arma 3 running at maximum settings, native resolution.
Arma 3, my friend plays Arma 3.
And it's running pretty smoothly. Like, I'm averaging 70 and 80 FPS, and this is normally like a very intensive game to run. And it's still doing a pretty good job. So right now I'm playing League of Legends. It's one of my favorite.
2000 gaming PC. 2000 gaming PC, by the way. And he uses it to run League of Legends. I'm pretty sure you can play... Wait, can you play League of Legends? Phone's on the charger. I ain't gonna go check, but pretty sure you can play it on... Wait, hold on. Is League of... Pretty sure you can play this damn game on mobile. Either way. Yeah, $2,000. It's like, it would be like me building a $2,000, $3,000 PC. Has like a 3090 in it, a Threadripper CPU, 2,000 power supply, just to play Terraria. Just to play Terraria. I think you can get that. Sure, that can run. That runs on mobile. Oh my God, Stefan.
Games. I'm actually playing against a bot, and I'm distracted, so I'm not actually doing so well. But otherwise, like, this is pretty much what you would see me do on a gaming computer. Test stuff out.
Suck at the game. So this is how pre-built PCs are made. I bet you he works at Walmart and he builds. Uses yeah, that's not enough gigabyte space. Yeah, he just doesn't recognize. He's like, I got the PC working. Well, guess what? My PC works. Don't mean it's a good PC. Cyberpunk is still in my library and I cannot play it. That's why I'm getting the new PC. Oh, speaking of Cyberpunk, I'll be able to play Cyberpunk 2077 without upgrading. Does that even matter? Does it even matter? It wasn't even an intense game. Yeah, it's a powerful game, but was it really worth it though? God, Jesus. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. This video is sponsored by Capital One. Alright. So, what did we learn today, class? We learned that Stefan don't know how to build computers. He probably works at Walmart. And, well, I've learned a lot today. I've learned how to not build a PC.